Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How are you today? You're at your favorite spot. Yes, the podcast, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today, we are going to meet with the beautiful, smart, intelligent spiritual medium, Nancy Smith. We're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk about what it is to have psychic intuition. We're going to talk about her podcast and her teaching. And also, I'm going to turn you on to something. I think we talked about it before on the show, but the Akashic records, how they work, and is that something for you? So without further ado, let's bring our guest on. How are you doing, Nancy?
Doing great. I'm so thrilled to be with you, April. This is
Well, I'm
great.
happy to be
Thank
with
you.
you too. It's so nice to be in the room with a sister podcaster. Uh,
Yes.
and you do a phenomenal job. Brains, you should check her out. I put her link on there now. You know I'm part sneaky. I don't put everybody's link on it, but I don't feel that she's competition. I feel that she is enhancement. I feel that she's beauty and that she's warmth, and there's plenty of space out here for everybody. So when people try to, pigeonhole you into one particular spot, they do you a disservice because they're denying you access to your highest and greatest good. Tell my brains a little bit about you, Nancy, and how you show up in the world.
Well, okay. So we've got the podcast that we talk about, and I'm all about, we talked a little bit about the Akashic Records. I am a minister in the spiritualist tradition, and I do mediumship with spirit art. I'm an artist and I also teach this. My most important thing that I want people to understand is if I'm improving the continuity of life, I really improving the continuity of God's love for us while we're alive. And that's where the soul power living comes in. That's where if we could actually access that love from God, it would change our lives. And I've seen it change people's lives. So that's kind of how I show up.
Well, accessing it, you can only access it if you leave the door open.
Yes.
Okay. People are closed off. They're afraid. They've
Right.
been shunned by
Right.
traditional religion.
Oh, yeah.
They don't read the doctrine for themselves. They wait for the interpretation of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you throw in the mix spirituality, they get it confused. It is not a contradiction. Again, it's an enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to the source, the highest and
I
greatest good.
agree.
I want to go beyond
Yeah.
Allah, Buddha, Jesus. I want to ascend higher to them.
Mm-hmm.
And people are afraid of that. They figure, oh, well, you're not supposed to do that. That's playing small. Those are the boundaries. How do you help people break those boundaries? How do you get them to loosen up?
Oh, so many different ways. But the biggest, most important way is you're divine. And if I can show you your own divinity, or I can give you, facilitate you to finding how amazing you are, um, and you have your intuition, you have your own connection, and you have your own higher self, you have your own pathway to source. And if I can show you how to get there and how to use it,
Mm-hmm.
then job done. We are born and created energetically to access this higher power. You talked about the little religions and things and structures of faith are basically just railroads or just ways to open up ourselves to that. Now, if a religion doesn't take us to a place of spirituality, it's the wrong religion for you. But I feel that energetically we are the before we're even created in our mother's womb physically, we're created energetically. And it's remembering that or being trained to go back to that. And I feel getting back to that means you got to really see your own divinity, love yourself, respect yourself, care for yourself, not in a narcissistic way. We're not talking about that. We're talking about self-respect, and appreciation for where we've come from. We can start to gratitude, open the doorway to that. That's the hallway right into connecting to your higher power, in my experience.
You've done a lot of work in the area of different modalities, learning them. Again, incorporating one to raise the level of awareness, not only in yourself, but the people that you pour into. So, how did you get to become a minister? I know that you've got an honorary doctorate, but how did you become a reverend, doctor, minister? I mean, you've got all of the trappings of success right in front of your Nancy.
It's all an illusion. I'm can't telling you. But how I got to be a minister, I knew I was very committed to what I was doing, and I loved what I was doing. And do you know what I mean? People respect titles, so I thought, you know what? I have all the trappings, and I'm going to just walk into finishing up my studies to become and have that discipline and that structure behind me. Now, I break every rule I can think of whenever I'm doing spiritual. I think it's just it's like the training wheels that we need. But I wanted to be honest. I wanted to have integrity, and I wanted to show that I had integrity. Now, the doctorate that came through is a humanitarian, where I did a lot of volunteer work, teaching people in the spiritual in my own church, as well as the podcast, as well as just one-on-one with people. And when I added up all the hours, I was just talking to somebody about it, and she said, I have a program for you. And so the doctor just speaks about all the hundreds of hours that I put in volunteering. And when you volunteer and when you're available to people, that's a powerful place to learn. See, there's a lot of humility there. You don't go in and just tell people what to do. They're kind of telling you what's going on, and you're learning from spirit. So that's where I felt like I kind of earned all those hours. But that's where that is structure. I just wanted some structure around what I do.
You used
I
a
don't.
big $25 word in your conversation. You said illusion. And I was at a lecture this weekend, and it is a made up story. We are the observers of our
Yeah.
lives. We are not the facilitators. We're not the directors. We're the watchers. We're the seekers. And it was so strange because the lecturer was clearly saying that, okay, if the ball drops, that's it. The ball drops. But oh, the ball dropped because it fell out of air, or someone must have touched it, or this, that, and the other. We add all of these other variables
Mm-hmm.
to
We
the
do.
original thing that
Yeah.
actually happened.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so now it's a story, and now it's made up.
Yeah.
And now we keep regurgitating it in our mind over
Absolutely.
and over and over again.
Absolutely.
But what people fail to realize, Nancy, is that you can go back and you can rewrite that story. And you can rewrite the story
Yeah.
for it to appear exactly how it is, not with all of these other extras. And I think that my question to him was that we have been programmed to think and overthink, to
Mhm.
overanalyze what is something that is so simplistic. It's like the mainstream media. It used to be Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters would give you the news, do the interview, that's it. Now it's the opinions of the pundit. Now they're
Yeah.
calling each other's names. Now they're doing this. It's not even based upon what the original story is. So I say all of
True.
that to say this to you. When you're working with your clients and you're trying to help them pull back the layers to rewrite their story,
Mhm.
what are some of the things that you're finding that's
Oh
going on
boy.
with people?
Well, early childhood stories, the stories start when we're tiny, partly through our own experiences as a 3-year-old or 2-year-old or a 1-year-old. So I'm finding a lot of stories that were written at that vulnerable, very young age. And then I'm finding a lot of limitations and belief systems that were taught through society, through parents, aunts and uncles. I'm Midwestern. And people, when they realize, is this all there is? What else is there? They can't see what else is there because as you call the stories, are so embedded so deeply. They're like filters in front of their selves, and it's finding a safe, sacred space within your connection to spirit. Don't change anything. Just get to your higher self. Just get to your spirit, and then let that beautiful vibration. It's the law of a vibration. Let that beautiful vibration shake loose the story so you can actually grow from your experience. It's about integration. And the law of vibration, if anyone's interested in metaphysical, is when just like the water goes to the lower level, and that's how we have levels, and we can find out what's level or not. Carpenters need those levels. When you're hanging pictures, you need those levels. When you're moving to a new belief system and a thought, it's all vibration, and so you want to find a higher vibration. And I feel like going to your soul, going to your higher power is exposing that yourself to that higher vibration will entrain you because vibration wants to match each other, and everything vibrates. I'm talking too fast. Everything vibrates, and the vibration law that the lower vibrations want to match the higher vibrations, just like the water seeks out level, the vibration seeks out height, and or feet faster, or however you want to express it. And the higher vibrations are where the growth comes in, where the revelation, you can come in with a very sad, traumatic story from your childhood that you're just not going to let go. You sit in a relationship with this power, to your higher power, the learning starts to unfold and you see your strength. This happened to you as a kid. Look at where you're now. You're amazingly strong and you can't feel it or see it because the story's in the way. The story starts to move out of the way and a new story starts. And that's why spiritual practice, a gentle, loving spiritual practice where you understand that the creator is unconditional divine love. And that's when you grow and that's when you connect. And to me, that's everything. That's your protection. That's your pathway.
Well, a doorway to that is the Akashic Records. Explain to my
Yeah.
brains a little bit about your role in that and how you found it and how you use
Well, yeah, I'd love talking about the Akashic Records. How I found it, I was really into, it's a long story. I'm going to try to make the short version of it. I always was intuitive. I was one of those empathic kids, oversensitive, and I was raised Catholic, and I could hear what people when they would talk. I would feel what they meant when they said what they did. So sometimes what they were saying didn't match what was really in their heads, and I could hear it. Take me to church. I could see if the priest was well or not, but I could see the angels through the music. It's all really highly sensory. So then move a few decades on, and I'm discovering that I can talk to spirit. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I'm talking to spirit. They're telling me things that they want their loved ones to know. And so I'm starting to study that through spiritualism. And as I did that, I felt like there's a big healing thing that wants to happen here. And what is the purpose of a lot of this? And where are we going with a lot? Where is this particular connection to spirit that I'm bringing through a person? Where is it taking them? So I got really curious about the healing aspect. And then the Akashic Records just opened up and created a container for me to understand that we are born from love, where we came from love, we're returning to that love. What the heck is that love? And that divine energy of the creator is the Akashic field of energy. And within that field of energy, we're not forgotten. It's all of God. All of our tears are held in a bottle, God's bottle. And that's the Akashic Records. That's where we learn from our soul's inception, all the past lives or whatever, from the beginning of I want to say humanity, but that's wrong because it's the beginning of everything that's been created. Because we go to other planets, we go to other
I just say since creation because
creation, and it's all
people can
yeah.
debate that. Was it
I
the
don't.
Big Bang
Yeah.
theory? I don't know, but I know for sure that we are not the only ones in the solar system. Do you believe that?
Okay. Oh, I do. I do. As a matter of fact, this could be a whole nother podcast. Not only do I believe it, I know it. And when I connect with somebody, I can feel
I can feel
where
it.
their soul originated. It wasn't always human on the earth. But don't get freaked out. You're human on the earth right now. So let's work with what you got right now. But
Work with what you got. I got you.
no, we're not going to use that as an excuse to not do your work, what you're here to learn. And I just know that, for instance, I really was connected to this planet that was a water planet,
Mhm.
and the beings were amazing, very telepathic, and they're all water, water beings. And
Mhm.
the planet, and what I got in this reading, and I went in there a couple of times, the planet was coming to the end, its end. It was a dying planet. It didn't, and the beings knew it that the vehicle that they were riding, it was time for it to close, and they knew that their lifestyle or their way of living was going to, end. Everything has a beginning and everything has an end.
Absolutely.
And many of them decided, as they kind of searched the universe, where are they going to go? They decided to come here to Earth because there were some things that they could work on and develop. And so these soul beings came and became human. And I can feel them. I can feel a lot of different other planets. And these are when you call old souls, when if you could meet somebody who's one of the water people, they're amazing
Yeah,
in
I
their
know.
understanding about life. And a lot of them feel like, I don't belong here. How did I get here? This is not my thing. And yet, some of them are here
Some of them are
because,
very in tune. They
yeah.
know exactly what they are, and they know that you recognize them.
And I love it. I
And
love it.
I do too. I do
And
too.
they're here to learn and grow on their own, but they're here to help humanity learn and grow. We haven't even touched our potential
Oh,
of what the creators made us to be. And we can get so wrapped up in the negative and the bad news about being human. But if we could see what the creator intended when we were created and all the gifts that we have that we haven't even touched yet, it would blow you away.
but it's the distraction.
Oh yeah.
That's like I tell
Yeah.
kids. Okay, I sit you down to eat dinner, but you sitting here playing with your toys. You're sitting here looking out the window. You're
Yeah.
distracted. And what we have to do is we have to come back to consciousness. We have to come back to awareness.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
to be heart centered. We
We
have
do.
to be in self. What is self? That's a big question. I mean, we were asked that this
Mm.
weekend, and it was like, what is self? Who are you really? We're ever evolving, we're ever
Oh, yeah.
changing. You're not the person that you were 15 minutes ago versus 15 years ago.
Right. But
Okay.
yet you're still got the core elements.
Exactly. Exactly. And but what is that core element? What is it that we are creating by design? What is it that we are seeking, that we're looking for? That's why they need great teachers like you, um, Reverend Dr. Nancy Smith, because again, you're dedicating your life. You could own a bakery, you could own a flower shop, you could raise kittens. You can do anything but pour into other individuals. What does this do for you? How does this make you feel? I mean, everybody's got an ROI, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Some people do it for financial reasons,
Oh
some
yeah.
people do it for glorification of, they want to please God, they want to be of service. Some people just want to do it because it's trendy. What is your why?
My why, um, you know, I like a better ROI. I'll tell you that much right now. But I keep choosing the I'm an explorer. I'm a creator and I'm curious. And when I see the potential of humanity in the mind, the spirit, and the soul, I am so curious, and I want everyone to know to come with me on this journey. So that's kind of like a little my selfish thing. It is like I don't go in for these interruptions and these negative thinkings, but I really go in for the power of the soul. And I see what people have created in their lives that are way smarter than I am, and they're living their soul's power. It creates something fantastic on the planet. And sometimes it's just eaten up by negativity. Sometimes it just flourishes and go on. We're in a time now where greed is like the leader of stuff, and that greed is that time we have to get past this. But I'm in it for the growth and the flourishing of humanity because it's so exciting what the potential is for us. And I'm just really curious too about what's the good stuff. Um,
But it's the discipline, okay, so we have the distraction, but then we also have the discipline. And I find myself falling short of the glory sometime when it comes to consistency. There's certain things I know I should be doing every day, every day.
well, welcome
But
to being human. Yeah.
exactly. And that's a part of the human design, knowing who you are, but also the manifestation. A lot of people get that twisted. Oh, I'm a manifester, I'm this, I'm that. You can manifest some drama too. Please believe and trust
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
that conversation. So
I have human design. Somebody told me I was a manifester, and I'm looking around and going, "Well, what the heck am I manifesting here? I got to get clean up my act." But
exactly. But
yeah,
again, when you are truly that, it just oozes out of your pores. That's why
yeah,
you do what you do. That's why I do what I do. That's how we met
exactly.
each other.
Yeah,
Is that you ask for the highest and greatest good.
yeah,
I
you do.
ask for that every single
Yeah,
day. I ask God, how can it get any better than this, and what else is possible?
right.
I ask for that. Oh, I get chills every time I think about it because I get chills because there's so many things I'm still unaware of.
All
I was
right.
telling another one of my friends I had to slow down on my meditation. They were so intense. I was just getting these massive downloads. And I said, God, he calls me baby. He says, yes, baby. I said, can you slow this down? I said, because you're giving me so much, I don't know what to do with it. You know what came back to me? He says, I give you all of the pieces. I want to see what you're going to do with them. Are you going to love them? Are you going to nurture them? Are you going to protect them? Are you going to teach them? Are you going to share them? Or are you going to abuse them, disrespect them, ignore them? I'm watching. If you do what you're supposed to
Mhm.
do and in alignment, it will all come together. And Nancy, when it comes together, baby, it's better than a clam chowder soup.
That is true. It's
It's true.
true.
It's
True.
true.
And just a little grounding reality check is it's true, but it's the discipline, it's the focus, it's the remembering that you're in love and you are love. And when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and the news is bad and your hangnails are really bugging you because it's, whatever, um, you have a choice. And it's up to you to make the choice. What side of the bed am I going to get up on? Where am I? How am I going to interact with this situation? Or am I going to walk away from the situation because there's no interacting with it? That there is. We are always in charge. Our aware self, or we could let our unaware self be in charge for a couple of days if we just want to check out, which is not a good idea. But we're
Sometimes,
here.
because I like to see, again, like the news. I don't, in my office, it's music. It's music or silence.
Yeah,
Either one. I,
yeah,
I can't I can't be programmed by everything that's going on.
yeah.
But I have to be aware. And so that's what people have to
Absolutely.
understand
Yeah.
is how do you separate the awareness from the action,
Oh
from
boy.
the truth,
I
from
know,
the
right?
untruth? How do
Yeah.
you now you look on, I mean, sometimes I look at stuff on social media because again, that's what I do. That's kind of where I live. But I look at it and I see, nah, that's a lie. You have pictures of people, that's not, that that's a lie. So
Yeah.
when you come to the point of consciousness and awareness, and you're comfortable with that, and you sit in that space like you do, like I do. But there's another challenge that we face is when we rise up to greet that new person.
Hmm.
There's a new set. The game doesn't change, brains. Okay, it just goes to the next level. And so
The next level. Yeah.
the next level. Okay, so what are my challenges going to be at this level? What is the reward? What is the sacrifice? It's just
Yeah.
continuously
Oh,
growing.
yeah.
Don't think because we think that we're uber smart and we're all hip and all gurish, and we know what's going on. But this is not it. We're probably still at level one. There is so much more. What do
You've
you say to
aced
the
level. Yeah. You've aced level one, but there's 10 more levels, babe. Yeah. But
So what do you say to
in,
that person that's rising though? Because it's hard when someone comes to you, and I'm just picking on you because we're together, but someone comes to you and it's malarkey, you know,
Mhm,
and you say, okay, I don't want to be judgmental. I
mhm.
want to be open. I want to hear. I might get something in that. But if you don't get anything in it, it's it's hard not to be dismissive.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
we how do we discipline
I
ourselves to just kind
know.
of
I,
that's a kind of a
yeah.
tough question.
Oh my gosh, I have people around me that I find to be challenging. They're probably not challenging, but they're teaching me. It's a little humility that I'm talking about, keeping it real. Um, that everything in front of us is teaching us. We've brought it to us. So if somebody is full of malarkey and is driving you crazy, it's half you and half them.
Right,
And
right,
and
own it.
Yeah. So what inside of myself am I denying? What am I judging? What inside myself do I feel like I'm better than the other person? Because it helps me to not have to deal with that person. But the message that that person is bringing to us is something we need to hear. So calm it all down and ask your highest self, what am I learning from this? What in this situation are you bringing my attention to so that I could go forward? I mean, I have all kinds of funny stories that we all do of synchronicities and things like that. And I can have one emotional thing after another, and I'm just moving on, being grace. I'm just being honest, not going to deal with it. I'm fine. I'm not going to cry over this. It's not worth crying for. And then all of a sudden, a pipe will burst in my house, and there's water everywhere. It's not about the pipe. It's about the fact that I kept not being real in my life. I kept denying my emotions, and emotions is energy in motion. It's teaching us, our physical body and our emotional mental body is teaching our mental body, hey, we need to get this balanced out. We need to integrate this. We need to move forward. Ascension is going to happen with integration, or you know, what's that word? God, I just lost it. But when you're going to move forward, when you're going to have enlightenment, it's all of you going forward. So if you're going to, and I'll tell you a little story, if you're going to deny that part of yourself that you don't like, that part of you that you don't like is going to act up everywhere outside of your life,
Right.
with relationships, with situations. And I've heard a number of stories. You can even go back to the Crusades with the Christians. They're so Christian. They love God. They're with God. And then some guy gets it in their head that everyone should be Christian because it's so great, good. I think it's because they're collecting a lot of good dues from everybody who's good money paying Christians. And they
Well,
decide that they're going to go do the Crusades and let's kill all the Muslims. Why that was a thing, I don't know, but you could see it even today. I'm going to take this amazing thing of connection with Source, and I'm going to get a return on investment on it. We can make some good money on this, or I can use this power to create power over. And so what's happening is that connection with Source, you're not paying attention to who you are and all your life experiences and all your stories. You're letting the stories use the source. You
absolutely. And they're draining the reservoir. Let's talk about two
absolutely.
things that you brought up. Money. Okay. Money is energy, brains. Repeat after me. Money
Money
is
is
energy,
energy.
and it needs to be moved. If you live like this, that means that you cannot receive nor can you give. You need to live a fluid lifestyle. Now, I'm not saying uh, be frivolous, but
Yeah.
you have to invest in what is important to you. That's like Nancy. There's so many people that are in that spiritual realm. There's the pastors, there's the preachers, there's
Hmm.
the rabbis, there's all of these people. They get money because, as one pastor told me, saving souls is big business.
Yeah.
And so, again,
Yeah.
there's nothing to be ashamed about it, but
Yeah.
you need to acknowledge and reward Nancy if that's with dollars, if that's with time, if that's with energy, if that's with volunteering. You need to pour into that reservoir.
Right.
And as her cup overflows into that saucer, she will share that with others. So many people say, "Oh, I've got this spiritual gift, and I don't feel that I should be charging or this."
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got to get over that because money
Yeah.
is no more valuable than any other
Yeah.
piece of paper on your desk,
Yeah. You're
and
the value.
it will
Yeah.
come back to you
Yeah.
tenfold,
It will.
tenfold.
Yeah, it will.
And
And
so
it
I encourage, yes,
may not be the way
like,
you think it should. It'll come back. It'll come back. I was talking to this woman who she is so dedicated to spiritualism and teaching people and helping people, and she makes very little money doing it. I says, "Well, how do you make your money? Because you do so well." She goes, "I'm just really lucky in real estate." Isn't that interesting?
she's
Right?
got again, she's got multiple revenue streams.
Yep.
But that's not to say that if she stopped doing that, all of the people, her
Yeah.
energy is being channeled through her real estate. She may not
Mhm.
be getting it directly from the person that she's working
Yeah.
with spiritually, but when she goes into this property, there's a blessing that's placed upon that she's going to get her commission plus some.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are the
Yeah.
individuals that are
Yeah.
doing the tarot readings, that are doing the
Yeah.
Akashic records,
Oh,
that are
yeah.
doing the ministry. Pour into them. pour into them because there's absolutely nothing
Absolutely.
wrong with it. You
Absolutely.
also have another vehicle. You have a podcast. Share with us a little bit about the podcast, how you started with the podcast,
Yeah.
and why do you love it? Because I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad you love it. I started it during COVID.
Hmm.
I'd gone through a divorce and there was a lot of emotional loss there. There was a lot of physical loss, friends. I'd moved to a new neighborhood, just everything turned upside down. And then my father died and then COVID hit. And I was kind of tanked out. And I felt because I guess people call me a seer. I could see what was coming after the COVID thing. I could see the realignments and the challenges. I said, that's the time I said, I'm seeing too much, fellas. I was asking God to pull the reins in a little bit because it was pretty scary from my perspective and my point of view. So one of my outlets was to do this podcast to put a voice out in the community, I don't know, whoever's going to listen, whatever community that could be, visible or invisible, that talked about soul power, that talks about if you want to create the life that you love and can perceive and can and envision, this is how you get off your butt and do it. And I wanted that voice out there. And so I talked a lot about I have a book, Divine Love Affair and Akashic Journey. So I took a lot of the chapters from the book that I've learned. I talked a lot about manifestation. And then I started having guests on. And all the guests that I have on my show have to be offering something to somebody and on a high level. And I have had feedback saying, that year that I listened to you, I was undergoing cancer treatments, and every week I waited for your podcast to come on, and that helped me get through the week. I had no idea that I was making that impact, and it just was so again, using the word humble and grateful. But as Spirit had to knock me on the head and say it because I was like imposter syndrome, like I'm not really doing anything. It's just a little voice. But I feel that I want to invite more people. How are you going to use yourself, your creativity, your voice to create heaven on earth or to create
Right. To make a
something
difference.
better?
You
Yeah.
can't just sit up here like lunch meat brains, like a big old piece of bologna. It just doesn't work. It just does not work. Let me ask you some fun questions. This is my favorite part of the interview. If you, Nancy Smith, were an appliance in the kitchen,
Appliance.
what appliance would you be and why?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to just, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I want to say refrigerator.
Okay.
Um, but and I think it's the refrigerator because a dream I had right before I was gonna before the divorce happened. I had this dream, and I wanted to make a grilled cheese sandwich, and I went into the refrigerator and I couldn't find any cheese. So I had the pan and I had the bread, but there was no cheese. You know that book, There's No Cheese? And I knew that that was a really important dream. But when I went deeper into the refrigerator, I found shredded cheese. And I said, I could make a grilled cheese sandwich out of shredded cheese. But I also found that the refrigerator was, even though it was empty, and I was feeling empty at the time, it was still running. It
That's right.
was still running.
It was still chilling.
You got to go catch
Ain't
that refrigerator. But yeah, that's why the refrigerator is still running.
right. Uh, my favorite thing is I want to be
We want to be
garbage disposal.
garbage disposal, really?
Garbage
Okay.
disposal. I want to be the place where you dispose of the things that no longer serve you.
Okay.
I want to be able to wash it away.
Yeah.
I want to be able to keep it clean and have it smelling
Love it.
fresh.
Love it.
I
Do you
want to
know,
be
wow.
that place,
The
and
garbage disposal is the best fed thing in the kitchen, including the
that's
people.
fed. Okay. It gets all the good scraps, all the overflow. If you were a flower in the garden,
Hmm.
Reverend Dr. Nancy Smith, what flower would you be?
Oh my gosh. It's a kind of like daffodils popped in my head because of spring. I'm waiting for spring, but I love hydrangeas and
I
peonies.
do
So
too.
so here's me not being able to make a choice. I love that enduring what the hydrangeas and the peonies seem to endure the longest during the blooming season, and they're so beautiful.
They are so beautiful. And
Mm.
that hydrangea smell. I was just at
Oh,
the
yeah.
I was just at the Trader Joe's. Shout out to Trader Joe's. I love you guys. I was just out there and they were all in bloom. Oh my God, I could have just sat out
Mm.
there with a cup of tea. I would have been just as happy as I could be. What's
Mm.
your spirit animal?
I it's the bear. Since I was little, I had nightmares about bears, and they were always coming to dance with me, and they wanted me to be part of their families. But I said, "You're bears." And I don't know why, but bears have all, when I was little, why that happened. But they stayed with me as I grew and as I developed, and I feel like the bear in some Native American tradition talk about the bear is the boundary keeper. And when the bear clears the woods out of all of the predators, the deer can come out, and deer is creativity. And I never really understood that till I was much older, and I had to stop running away from my bears. Be the power. Very powerful.
I
Bears are
was
very powerful.
I
How? What
was
are you?
I was in Yosemite, and mine, a Native American woman gave me mine. She gave me the owl and she gave me the elephant.
Oh, oh, lovely.
And I guess she gave me the owl because I like to do my neck like that sometimes.
Good, good.
But the elephant is strong and it's prideful
Yeah,
and it's a good parent and it never
yeah,
forgets. And it's a vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian. I wish I was,
yeah.
but it eats only what it needs to eat, and it
Okay,
disposes again of the things that no longer serve them. I think
okay.
that would be an elephant. What's your
Okay.
superpower?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's and I hate to say it, my vulnerability and my sensitivity, which I fight them all the time. But I think those are my superpowers.
Yeah, being empathic or empathetic
Yeah,
is a gift if you know how to use it and you know how to turn it off
yeah,
and you know what it is.
yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
times people just fall into that, and people will mistaking you for being a crybaby or being
Oh, yeah,
super sensitive, this, that, and the other. But that is a gift that you're able to absorb those things because it's not
yeah.
just negativity, it's
No,
also joy.
it
You
is.
can walk into a room and you
Yeah,
say, "Wow, this is a vibe.
yeah,
This is going to be a great
yeah,
place for me,"
yeah.
or a place of love, or a place of healing, or a place of support. You feel all of these
Those
emotions
things. Yeah,
impasse. You don't
yeah,
just feel
yeah.
that when you're downtrodden or you're upset or you're angry. You feel more than that. So what you want to do is you want to try to create that balance. You want to work with someone like Nancy that can help you balance out all of these things because we're all going to run into that at one point or another. So, vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? Which one do
Oh,
you like?
well, I'd have to probably chocolate.
Everybody likes chocolate. I'm into strawberry right now.
You like
Oh my.
strawberry? Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't you
yeah.
change your flavors every once in a while. All of a sudden you
I
love chocolate, but
well,
then all of a sudden you like, no, it's vanilla this week.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you are. Sometimes that vanilla is plain, but it's good.
I know. Yeah, sometimes that chocolate is delicious, but it's addictive.
It's
So you have
addictive.
to,
It's
yeah,
addictive.
but
If you
yeah.
could have a conversation with a 25-year-old Nancy Smith,
Oh
what would you say to
boy.
her?
I tell you what, that's a really interesting question. That was the year I got married. Um, and I would probably say, don't do it. But but I have two beautiful children. So I think at my 25-year-old is what I'm finally telling myself now is you have a voice, use it. You have a good heart, share it. And share it with conviction and hold your boundaries tight. Just because somebody else wants something, I'm a people pleaser. Just because somebody's asking you for something or wants something else different from you, you don't have to give it. Be strong in yourself. That's what I would say. What would you say to your 25-year-old?
That's
Important.
it. And
Yeah.
it's okay. But the best part about it is that I recognize it. And that's what I'm saying. It's about being aware and being conscious. And that is what
Mhm.
Nancy Smith does. And I thank you so much for being a guest here with me and being open and honorable and sharing your return on investment, sharing your wisdom with us. Because again, ROI is not necessarily monetary. It can be emotional. It can be spiritual. It can be
Yeah.
the fact that you just want to be a portal for other individuals. But know what it is because everybody wants a return on their investment. Everybody does. And if you don't,
Yeah.
you're doing yourself a disservice or you're lying to yourself.
Well, yeah. I have to add too, sometimes when somebody offers you something beautiful and you really learned from it. And then you take it and you go on your merry way. There is a concept of reciprocity.
That's right.
If you want to anchor it into your life, you need to reciprocate with where it's come from. There needs to be one hand shaking another. Um, in the back of the day, when shamans were there and the villages would support the shamans, the villagers would feed them, house them, clothe them, give them whatever they need. And it's not the way it is now. And people who have spiritual gifts to offer you, who have wisdom to offer you, they've gone a long journey, far away. They've invested themselves to things you would never even know to get to the place where they could give you that wisdom. And respecting that wisdom is respecting yourself, but it's also respecting the changes that you're asking yourself to make. So there does
Exactly.
need to be reciprocal. You need to respect, um, and it's
You,
the
but
give back.
the even with the give back, and it's a lot that you're being robbed of, Nancy, by giving. This work is draining.
And here comes that vampire person going, well, what do I have to offer today? Not much.
Mm-mm.
And so you who is aware now need to make some conscious choices so that you're okay.
Yes.
And in there's a Jewish teaching from the Kabbalah that, and somebody taught me this. I'm not Jewish, and so if I get it wrong, I apologize. Is that you are you're going to the dinner without bringing food to it, and that's unacceptable.
Right.
That's not looked on with grace. But if you continue to invite people to your table who are only going to take but not give back, that's your problem. That's on you too. And this is where I want to talk about soul contracts and the
Right.
Akashic Records, things that you've agreed to from lifetimes and lifetimes ago, that different set of rules, and you're trying to live that out now. And that's where your awareness, I take people into their soul contracts all the time. Soul contracts can be good, but lots of times they're just misconstrued energy or belief structures that aren't even from our childhood, that it's time for us to take a look at and take responsibility for. And your relationship with money can totally come from a past life, or
Oh,
from a group agreement that's eons old, and
it's
it needs to get
epigenetic
broken.
trauma.
Yeah,
Was there never enough? Was there an
right.
overflow to the point where people were greedy? What is it? I look at some of these people in the world today, Nancy. How much
Which
money?
ones?
Yeah, I mean, but how much money do you need?
Right?
How
Yeah.
much money do you need?
Yeah.
I had a situation where it was really a else, and you're gonna
Yeah.
find I see people sleeping on the streets. Me and my husband was
Yeah.
going to the Denny's the other day. There was this guy curled up in the corner. Oh, he looked like the cat's drugging me, and he was looking bad.
Oh,
And I went in my purse, and my husband goes, "What you gonna do now?" I said, "Go ahead and give him this $20." I said, "I don't want to give it to him because he looked like a little rough. I don't want to, to snatch my purse." I'm like, I said, "Give him the $20." He came from up under that blanket. He said, "Maybe they'll let me go in here and wash my face and get something to eat." Nancy, I started crying.
mm,
I
mm,
started to cry. I said, "You know
yeah.
what?" And that was $20. I came
Yeah.
home. I looked in the mail. There was a check for $100, a
No
refund on
way.
Aussie, and not being
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
uptight. You can't be uptight about stuff like that because
Yeah.
again, when you go, there's not going to be no hearse
Yeah. I'll take it
with
with
your
you.
with your
Yeah.
clothes in it and your house and all of that. You better be hoping that somebody's even at your funeral because folks don't even go to your funeral now.
They don't do funerals anymore. A lot of people don't even do funerals anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
I wanted to be cremated and have a celebration of life, going to
Yeah.
the
Party.
park and play some
Yeah.
music and
Yeah.
eat
Pop
good and
picnic.
celebrate my
Yeah.
life. But
Oh, no. No. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
but I'm
No.
feeling you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there
So
anything
this
else you'd like to share with our group?
Well, I have some things that I do for people that are freebies, but also gifts to kind of walk into,
Okay.
learning, getting to know me and how you're going to work with me. And so I have this group on Facebook called Soul Power Living, and in that Facebook group, every month I have a free training, and you just have to ask me for it. But I have this special, and I hope the link will be somewhere. But the
Absolutely. I'm going to put all the
five
links in.
languages of your soul is a system that empowers my clients to clear up their uncertainty around what their connection is to their soul, how where their intuition is coming from, and so they can confidently take the best action possible, and that will benefit themselves, and that creates a beautiful foundation for start stepping into a spiritual life. And so I wanted to share that with people because a lot of people are learning and growing from it. I just got an email from somebody who I worked with. Oh gosh, it was a year ago, and she was pretty upset and distraught. And I took all the things that I knew about stepping into life. Now I've had some hard times in my life, single mom, divorced, going to food pantries, and I get it. And we put these things in place for her. A year and a half later, her life is. She just said, "I can't believe how different my life is." I listened. It wasn't she was. She thought I listened to you. I said, "Actually, you were listening to your spirit. I was just telling you what they were saying, but good job." And so that I was so happy when reading that. I couldn't tell you. So that's what I want. People who are kind of, you don't think you're going to make it, or your heart hurts, or you're grieving, or somebody really did you wrong. There's a soul appointment there. There's a soul redirect saying, "I can help you find that soul redirect," and I want people to be happy because that means life's going to be good. They're going to be people like April finding that $20 bill and helping the next one, and that person's going to help the next one, and we got to get this going, guys.
It's got to be an overflow. It's got to be an overflow.
Yeah.
Tell my brains also how to get a copy of the book and how to connect with you on the podcast.
So, my Amazon carries my books. Actually, you could look up my author page and you can see all the books I've written. But my best book is it won a Nautilus Award. Is Divine Love Affair: An Akashic Journey, and it talks a lot about my own vulnerabilities and how I did a spiritual path. So it's not it's approachable. People keep telling me it's approachable. They can do it. And then the podcast, it's Angelscapes Podcast, and there's a few different ways you can find it. I'm on Facebook Live, Nancy of Angelscapes. If you find me, just friend me up and come to my page. It's Thursdays, Thursday afternoon, 1:30. It's live. However, then I publish it to my YouTube channel, Angelscapes Podcast, and then I throw it out there to all the podcast platforms through Spotify. So if you just go search for a podcast, Angelscapes Podcast, it'll show up for you. And if you find me, just hit a like button and subscribe. That would help me reach more people that way. Help the algorithms, kind of like that. And angelscapes.net. Angelscapes is my branding. Angelscapes.net is my website. And there's a lot of stuff on my website. Um, and one of the things, if you book a session, please book a session. You get a lot of information, but there's also a free discovery session, not a reading, but we talk about how we can work together. And I explain to you what I have to offer and how your individual situation is not impossible and what I would do to work with you to help you get through what you are going through right now. So those lots of ways to reach me and get help.
There's a lot of ways. We don't want you to escape. We want you to escape into a great place. And I think being with Nancy is that safe space that she will see you, that she will hold you, that she will touch you, and she'll talk to you. Not talk at you, but talk with you and let you discover who yourself is so that you don't end up going down the garbage can, but they keep you in the refrigerator.
Well, now if you go down the garbage panner, you just remember April is the garbage disposal. She'll clean you up and
That's right. And then again, whatever you don't dispose of, you're gonna get in the refrigerator with Nancy to keep you cool and keep you safe.
yes,
Thank you so much for being here, Brains. I need you to do the same thing for me. I need you to go in and like, love, share, and subscribe. Like, love, share, and subscribe. We got over 1,000 people organically. Okay, I'm not using an SEO. I'm not using an influencer. I'm not using a bot. I'm using via V. You know, if you want to be with me, you want to hang on. That's what I want. I want the people that want to be with me, not that are forced upon me. Okay. So thank you so much. Go in and love, like, share. I'm going to leave all of Nancy's contact information at the back. We're going to play this over and over and over again. And just, calm down, have some tea, go out in the garden, and just think about what we're talking about. Don't overthink it, but think it so that you're comfortable with it, that you can make a decision to raise yourself to your highest and greatest good. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Nancy Smith. I love all of that. That just makes me good.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk again soon.
We
I love
will.
it,
My
Brain.
pleasure. Have a good day.